Took my
Good
car to the
morning,
garage.
George. Huh?
So-
Do you want to start that again?
Yeah, go on then.
Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
But your face was telling me, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Wrap this up.
Good morning, George.
Good morning. That was amazing. That was the same level of enthusiasm as you did on our first run.
The first attempt.
Which I fucked up.
Yeah.
You all right?
Fine. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Right, that's small talk done. Today, our guest is... No, go on. How are you? What have you been up to?
Yeah, fine. Mixing, gigging, living. Just a combo of those three. Lego.
Big trio. All four.
Princess Bubblegum.
Yep, the new hamster.
She's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's settling in very well. Very friendly.
Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely to have her around the house.
Nice.
My parents moved.
Yep.
They've moved in, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Check out the new pad.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
Yeah. Got busy September.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to the UK Drum Show.
yeah, that's at the end of the month.
That's at the end of the month.
Yeah, I've got 5 trips to London.
That's a lot.
So, yeah, too many.
But anyway, yeah. Shall we talk about today's episode?
Yes. That was funny. Why was that funny?
I don't know. Episode. I like
Sometimes
fast
you say
food.
things with an intonation.
Yeah.
You like fast food?
Yeah, I like fast food. Try not to eat it all the time. I'll have a McDonald's now and then.
Where are you going with this?
I'll have a KFC, even rarer. And sometimes I'll have a Subway.
Ah!
Yeah?
I really wanted to just then go into the interview with no other, but we can't. We've got to explain who she is.
Yeah, we've
Do
got
you wanna
Camille
explain-
Phillips,
Yep, there you go.
who's a drummer for the Subways.
Yes, hence the joke.
Hence the joke. Yeah? I took you on a journey.
He did, yeah.
You had a face of utter bewilderment
Well, I was
and
glad
confusion.
it was quick,
Yeah.
because sometimes you'll start something and it
I
won't
could have
be-
listed a lot more
You
places.
could have, yeah.
But your face was telling me, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Wrap this up. Subways
Wrap this
fans
up.
will be
Yeah.
listening, going, who are they? When are we getting to the guest?
Yeah, she's
now.
a drummer for the Subways.
Oh,
Should we just
we just go in. That's
go
all we
in.
need to know for now.
That's all you need to know. Yeah.
We'll have a debrief at the
Yeah.
end.
Join us on
Yeah.
a journey.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the end.
Well, it was Laurie that introduced me to you in a way.
Nice, yeah. I noticed that you've done a few sessions with Brighton musicians. Where are you both
Yeah.
based?
Well, I'm Brighton. I've been
Oh.
back here for 3 years, but Ben's in Portsmouth.
Amazing, cool.
Yeah.
I went to school kind of between the two and spent a lot of time. Well, my induction to gigs was in Portsmouth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I spent my teens at the Wedgwood, really, to be honest. At the Wedge, yeah.
Playing or going?
Oh, going, yeah. I'm
Going.
talking about when I'm like 12, 13, 14. All my first gigs were all at the Wedge, yeah.
Who did you
Nice.
see first
Yeah.
there?
I saw a Drive-Through Records tour coming through first there. I think that was my first gig. I saw Fall Out Boy when they were a support band there.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that I'm old.
Who are they supporting? Do you
They were
remember?
they were supporting a band called Mest, MEST. Cool.
Where are they now?
Yeah.
Yeah, where are they now? I don't know.
That's cool. I love Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
My favourite bands.
Are they? Amazing. Cool. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your music taste because, what got you into music? Let's start at the beginning.
What got me into music? I'd say initially, I wasn't necessarily immediately taken by the drums. I was immediately taken by music. But I started playing guitar when I was about 8. I play a little bit of guitar as well. But nowhere to the level that I play drums at this point because I've never done it professionally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess my mum used to play a lot of Motown and Dusty Springfield and Diana Ross, and that was kind of the initial thing that made me fall in love with music when I was really quite young. And then yeah, it was when I was around probably 12 years old. The major defining moment I can remember was buying Californication, the Chili's records, and sticking that on and just sitting on the side of my bed and just like time standing still and just being like, whoa, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely like John Frusciante and Flea and Chad Smith, that whole sound definitely had a really big initial impression on me. With the kind of music I really enjoy listening to and playing. I think it's definitely got that soul, that groove, that funk in there that I grew up listening to. So I listened to a lot of old music growing up, like even for my mum's age at the time, that was quite old music for her to be listening to. So yeah, I think hearing that infused with the rock and roll side of things was just the thing that kind of kicked it all off.
Yeah. So where did drums come into play with all that?
Drums came into play really, to begin with, just by chance. I loved music. I'd played a tiny bit of guitar. I remember flicking through Kerrang magazine, is another memory I have, and noticing that all the wanted ads were for drummers. And I remember that being like an initial one of the reasons, being like, oh, okay, maybe it'd be a cool idea to pick up drums because everyone needs a drummer.
Yeah.
But I had some initial lessons at school along with some guitar lessons, but I hadn't really chosen a path yet. It was only when I left high school at 16, I knew I wanted to do music, but even at that point, I didn't really know what instrument I wanted to major in or kind of, follow a pathway. It wasn't only really until I started studying music at college level at age 16, where I really started to fall in love with the drums. And people kept asking me to play drums, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And now,
Yeah,
here we are.
Amazing. So it could have gone either way. It could have been guitar. It could have been.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that. Yeah, yeah. I really. I mean, for me, I've never considered myself, in all honesty, to be, until more so recent years, because I kind of retrained. I retrained with someone else that you've had on this podcast, actually,
Yes.
Pat Garvey.
Yes, of course. Is that recent? When did you start lessons with him then?
I started lessons with him, I think I was probably about 26, 27, and I'm 34 now. So I guess it was actually quite a while ago now. Kind of lockdown, COVID has just thrown every kind of time frame out of whack. But yeah, I haven't really considered myself at all to be technical in any way as a drummer. I really am. I mean, my thing really is groove, serving songs, serving the music. It's only been in recent years that I've really kind of started to study drums as an instrument and not just thought of it as part of the music and just using my ears entirely, just going entirely by feel, entirely by listening, by using my ears. It's only really been since that time that I started to redevelop my technique, and start working with books, where I've considered myself in any way technical. So for me, I mean, drumming has always just been a part of music as a whole.
Yeah. Was that a conscious thought then to go and get lessons? Did you feel like your technique was lacking or something?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I really just, I'd watch all these drummers that we all know and love and just look at them and I'd be like, how are they doing that?
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to do, because it's funny, even though I think people associate technique a lot with chops and maybe overplaying and that kind of thing. And they're like, I don't need technique because I'm not that kind of drummer. And I think I probably did feel that way for quite a long time until I realized that actually technique is a huge part of feel in itself and grooving and stuff. I wasn't even able to really incorporate ghost notes into my playing before that point, you know, not properly in the way, or musically in the way that I can now. So I realize the importance now that technique actually it's in every area of drumming. It's not just oh, I need this technique to chops all over the kit, you know.
Yeah, well, it helps with everything. It's even just being, because not to talk about myself, but my thing was my wrists started to hurt after gigs, and I went, well, what is this? Why is this happening?
Of course,
You
yeah.
know? And then you realize, oh, it's because my technique is awful, you know. And now it doesn't happen, you know. It's
there you go, nice.
yeah,
nice.
like there's fixes to everything, I think. And we can cut this out, but I scrolled through your Instagram and I saw you playing Page 33 a few years ago. And
Oh wow,
like,
yeah.
I was like, oh God, she's been through that as well. So
yeah.
on Page 33.
Yeah, I spent a hell of a lot of time on Page 33. Especially during lockdown, because I was working on it a lot then, and the different ways in which you can, it was Pat who introduced me to that as well. And yeah, the different ways in which you can use it, and it's just never ending. It's such an important page, isn't it? It's incredible.
It really is. Let's jump ahead to now. You're currently playing with the Subways.
Indeed.
How's it been? How's the summer of gigs and festivals and all those things?
It's been an incredible year. Yeah. I mean, I joined the Subways pretty much during lockdown. Their original drummer, who had played for the band the entirety of their career up until that point, was Billy's brother Josh, and he decided he wanted to leave the band just for, you know, his own personal reasons, wanting to spend more time with family and that kind of thing. And yeah, Billy approached me during lockdown, asking me. Initially it was kind of more, oh, could you finish the tour that we didn't finish because lockdown hit. You know, I think they'd done like 4 shows and then lockdown happened. So they still had this tour to finish, you know, 2 years later.
Yeah.
So he initially approached me for that. And then as soon as I met Billy and Charlotte, it was like we were like instantly best friends. It was awesome. Just had the best time, just got on so well. And I was already a fan of the band as well. I mean, I bought that first album when I was 16 years old in my last year of high school. So it was really, really funny experience going to a rehearsal room and then being like, cool, yeah, we're going to play Oh Yeah now. I'm like, wow, this is literally a song I used to have listen to on repeat on MTV.
Yeah.
So how did they find you, or how did you find them?
So Billy's ex, she's a radio DJ, and she was actually playing Ramona's on her radio show at the time, which is a band I used to play in, which was, as you might guess by the title, an all-female Ramones tribute. But we also wrote our own material. So she was playing that on the radio show at the time. Billy was a fan of the band already, and it kind of just coincided with her kind of spinning one of our records at the time, and them needing someone, and she kind of also put forward the idea. So I think it was kind of through another band really, and it was just all through Instagram, you know. It was kind of Instagram being your CV, you know. I think I think Billy had a look through some of the, fortunately because I was going stir crazy in lockdown, I was putting almost a video out every day of me playing a tune or whatever, so I had a lot there to look at.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you're joining an established band, you know, who've been going for some time, was there any, how did that feel joining something that was that established?
Apart from it obviously feeling great, it was also terrifying. Yeah. Yeah, definitely terrifying. I mean, I'm someone that really struggles with imposter syndrome anyway. To then be also met with the added, oh, you're trying to uphold a sound. I mean, to me, it's really important. One of the things I concentrate on most, and that's really important to me with playing, is trying to keep the music authentic as possible. I want those songs to sound like the records, because I think they sound great as they are. And Josh was very much a self-taught drummer. very unique sounding player. I think probably also as a result of being self-taught, when you're like navigating your own sound and no one's really telling you how to do stuff, you're going to be more unique by default, right? So yeah, he also didn't play with hi-hats and also mostly just played with a floor tom as opposed to having any additional toms alongside that.
Right.
So that obviously immediately, I think when you're working with less, when it's like less is more, he kind of, his parts are quite interesting because he didn't have very much in his setup. So yeah, when I'm playing those songs live, a lot of the time I'm not using the hi-hats at all. I have my hi-hats because I love having my hi-hats with my left foot. That's a very big, important thing to me. I mean, obviously been a fan of Chad Smith as well. If you've ever like taken note of what Chad Smith's left foot is doing, it's just constantly going, and I'm very much like one of those drummers as well. But I'm barely playing it in a set, it's all on the ride, and I've incorporated a rack tom into the arrangement because for me just playing with the floor tom feels very, very weird. But then a lot of the parts only call for one tom, so it's kind of a weird way of playing, like crossing over constantly, just playing between the snare and the floor tom and stuff. So for me it was really important to kind of keep it as authentic as possible, whilst also it being comfortable for me, because that was very out my comfort zone and felt very strange.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's the perfect segue to, I wanted to ask about, I was looking through your Instagram, and in 2016, I think it was, you broke your foot and had to play with your left foot. And I don't know, I watched a video of it. I wonder if you could talk about that, because that seems fascinating to me, to relearn how to play the kick.
Yeah, well, I did do that. I did do that in the 3 weeks before. So I was doing one of those like sponsored runs, and I landed funny from a very high place on it and landed on my right foot and just had this massive crack and was like, oh, that doesn't sound good. And the tour I was going on was 3
This is
weeks
why I
long.
say to my parents, this is why I don't exercise. As a drummer, it's incredibly dangerous, and I don't want to. So
it's so bad for you, honestly.
That's why I play PlayStation. It's just so much safer.
Yeah, apart from maybe if you do a bit of a button bashing game, and then you might get the claw.
Yeah,
claw thing. That might affect the playing a little.
Throw off your fulcrum a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I did. I started trying to, because I was freaking out. I had to do this tour, and it was who was
sorry, you're going to say, who was the tour? Was this Subways or was this?
No, this was quite a while ago now. This was while I was with Ramona's. And yeah, also Ramones live tempo as well, extremely fast. So yeah, it's like an hour and 15 minutes of eighth notes at like 200 plus BPM. So your foot's also like keeping up with it. So like quite scary. So yeah, I did retrain with a double pedal, trying to kind of navigate playing with my left foot. But in the end, I actually ended up playing the whole tour with my right foot. Fortunately, I didn't have a cast. I had one of those Velcro boots. So I would take that off just before I played. I play the hour-long show. My ankle would be the size of like a watermelon by the end of it. And I just get like loads of ice and put it on it after every show.
Oh my God.
And just kind of hope for the best. But what was quite interesting about it for me was that because I literally could not play with very much force with my foot, it still felt like jelly, honestly. At that point, it was horrible.
Was it still like broken? It was still fairly...
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of, I should have taken 6 weeks off, and I took 3. So it was
doctors don't recommend this.
Yeah, probably wasn't recommended. And I literally physically could not play with the amount of force I'd normally be able to play with my foot. But interestingly, because I was playing really, really light, kind of jazz style, I guess, going back to that, I could play so much faster and was so much more relaxed. So actually, for that 3 weeks that I did that tour, I was playing faster and more effortlessly than ever.
Yeah.
Which I found really interesting, because
Pro tip, break your foot.
break your foot, and then
Speed goes up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So no, I managed to get through it, but yeah, that was quite a scary time, and it has given me a bit of a fear of, doing anything else that's remotely dangerous that I enjoy, because you're like, yeah, okay.
Were you playing before then or during that? Are you a heel down player or are you heel up when you kick pedal?
I'm a heel up, bury the beater person. Yeah, I do try and work on different techniques sometimes, because sometimes you need it, don't you? But yeah, being primarily a rock drummer with quite a speedy foot, I tend to use a slide technique and bury the beater a lot and heel up kind of playing. Yeah. But no, I really want to develop that playing off the head technique more, because it sounds so nice in slower grooves when you can just really hear the whole bass drum resonate and you don't just immediately kill it.
Have there been any standout gigs with the Subways since your time playing with them?
Literally, one I had the other day was insanely good at Open Flare Festival in Germany. It was just an amazing show. We had an incredible day, and there was a lot of surprise confetti and fire cannons happening. That was quite fun.
Nice.
I'd say, yeah, that one literally that we played the other day, because I was saying afterwards, I think that's one of the best gigs I've played to date. I really enjoyed it. And also a standout one was the first UK tour I did with them, playing Kentish Town Forum, simply because, well, I had an incredible time playing that show. It was I think that was probably the biggest headline show I played at that point. But I was also incredibly nervous before it. So it was very standout for me. Playing to that many people on a first tour with a band as well, it's very nerve-wracking experience.
Was there nerves because you're replacing the drummer that's been there for years as well?
There were so many. It was my first tour post lockdown, so obviously you're kind of outside of your comfort zone with being in the swing of playing gigs all the time. I was replacing a drummer that had been there for the entirety of their career, and it was also the biggest headline show I'd ever played, all in one. So it's like, it's too much. It's too much to deal with. But an incredible experience. We're playing there again in October with Ash, because we're going on tour with Ash, which I'm also really excited for, being that Ash were another band I grew up absolutely loving. So
amazing.
And they're really nice guys. So
is it Josh, the original drummer? Has he come and seen you play?
He hasn't yet. No, I mean, he has obviously seen videos and stuff, but no, I still haven't met Josh. I really want to meet Josh at some point. Hopefully I do.
And going back to joining a band, an established band, was there any both positive and negative to you joining the band from the fan base?
I haven't really received any negativity really from it. I mean, I've noticed one thing that really did make me laugh, actually. It's a good thing to talk about. So the latest Subways album that came out January of this year, Josh actually played on that record. So they recorded all of this prior to me joining the band, pre and during lockdown. I think that they recorded that album, and but obviously because Josh left by the time the album was released, I'm therefore in all the music videos and stuff. So these music videos are all on YouTube, and there have been a couple of comments from fans saying it's just not the same without Josh. Like, it sounds different. Which really made me laugh, because I'm like, wow, people really clearly listen with their eyes, don't they? Because that's not me playing. That's Josh playing. So, but no, generally speaking, everyone's been super supportive and just really encouraging, and had really positive comments since me joining. But yeah, that did make me laugh, that it's not actually me playing on the record. And yeah, they're like, yeah, sounds different. Sounds really different.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask about music videos. We've not really spoken about this before, but with a band like the Subways, on a video shoot like you've been doing, as a drummer, what's the sort of, even like, what's the day like? How long are you there? What are you doing? Is there anything specific you're doing with the drums to make things easier? Is it just a ball ache, things like that?
Yeah, amazing. I love a video shoot just in general. I mean, I've done like a few promo, like I did one for like a video game last year, and I've done the budget ones as well and all that. And I love a video shoot day. So yeah, it's always something I really enjoy. But definitely with the Subways, yeah, it's very much an all day thing. I've done 3 music videos with them, one of which was more like live footage, so that was different. But the two that were more separate kind of individual things, yeah, it was very much a case of putting some kind of dampening on the drums and the cymbals so everyone can hear playback a bit better. And yeah, it's, kind of things I haven't been used to before, just playing in punk bands and stuff, having makeup and wardrobe and all that kind of stuff. A lot of prep goes into it, a lot of thinking about the stylistically about the video, what's going to happen with it, and the directors and the videographers that you're working with and stuff. I find it all really fascinating.
How many times are you playing the song through on average, do you reckon?
I mean, it's not been savagely bad. I would say maybe about, between 15 and 20 times. So, maybe tops. Yeah. Yeah. How it tends to work is they want full band shots and then individual shots. So they're like, okay, here's the full band section. We're going to get this bit. I guess maybe if you've got more people in the band, that might become more because they need to get more angles in. But being a 3-piece, I guess it makes it a little bit easier.
And playback, is it speakers playing it? I've done it both ways, and obviously like we've used in-ears, so you can see we've got in-ears, but it's just for a wedding band, but it made everything so much better. But I guess maybe they don't want in-ears in your sort of music video, so is it just like speakers? And I've done it before and it's a real struggle.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I've had it before where they're just playing it through like some kind of little Bluetooth speaker. So yeah, you've got those like Evans, like dampening pad things on the drums. So you can just hear it going through a Bluetooth speaker. But yeah, no, just played through a PA or something like that usually. So it's loud enough to.
Have you ever seen, is there any bits where you're like, you've fucked up and it doesn't quite sync?
Do you know what? That's something I've always kind of been really on top of, like making sure that where maybe I might ordinarily play something a little bit different live because you're just kind of in the moment, trying to be more specific to the track when you're playing for the music video. But then whenever I watch a music video back and look at all the way it's been thrown together and all the cuts and stuff, everything is so quick. It's not something you even really need to worry about that much. I don't think, it's the camera is never on one person long enough for you to really even notice anything like that. So definitely think it's something I've overthought in the past.
I like the idea also of you turning up with a hi-hat for the shoot and you're like, oh no, Josh didn't use a hi-hat. Don't get rid of that. Get rid of the hi-hat.
That's it. It's still there though. If I didn't have it on my left foot, I think I'd just freak out.
Yeah. I have unbalanced, I think.
Yeah. I have a double pedal and I do use it in original stuff, but I still take it to weddings, even though I don't really use it because it's so weird. And it helps set up where my hi-hat pedal goes, like distance-wise.
Yeah.
To just not have it feels bizarre.
Yeah. Also, just in case the people getting married want some Metallica or something, you've got it there ready.
Exactly.
Well, one band we do Rage Against the Machine and System of a Down and Disturbed and things like that. So
amazing. Is that the main?
It's more pop punk. So it's naughty. But it does stray into. So it's Blink, Green Day, we have like an emo section with My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy, and
that is incredible.
Falling
Please
for Soup,
remind me of what your band is called when I get married. That maybe.
yeah, we'll be there.
Just using these interviews to fucking plug your band now, Ben. I want to move on to, I think it was during lockdown, you were part of something called Save the Night, if that's correct. Yeah. I saw some of the videos encouraging more women to play drums. I wonder if you just, discuss that.
That was just a really random thing I got asked to do by Jägermeister. They were trying to support people in artistic industries throughout difficult periods. So there was not only musicians, but even like mixologists. They would, obviously that's tied in with Jägermeister and cocktails and stuff as well. But they were, any kind of artistic creative content. They were funding some artists to do that Save the Night campaign, which is really cool. And they specifically wanted, they didn't really specify what exactly they wanted, but the way I kind of tied it in was with Jägermeister artists. I thought maybe that might be quite a cool thing to do because they sponsor different artists. So I was taking tracks from artists that Jaeger sponsor and breaking them down in as simplified a way for beginners. So I was taking quite simple grooves from tracks and breaking them down so that beginners could potentially understand them. And specifically to kind of encourage more women to play drums as well. So it was a really fun little project that went on for a little while, and I really enjoy doing things like that. I'm a teacher as well, so I in between touring I do drum teaching of all ages in person and online, and it's something I really enjoy doing.
What do you
and most of my students now are specifically women or people of the queer community, which is definitely something I've leaned into with how I've advertised my teaching business, because it's something that's really important to me.
What do you think?
I was going no go on, Ben, you go.
I was gonna say, because obviously like women's football in recent years has, with the Lionesses, has becoming more mainstream. Still a long way to go, but do you and I've heard some people talk about that just at school level, like girls aren't being encouraged to play football, or they're not being allowed to play football. It's a boys' team and things like that. And I guess we're as a teacher as well at that young age. Is there something that is stopping girls playing drums? Is there something in the system that's stopping them, or is there anything that can be done to improve access to girls or make girls want to play more?
I mean, I definitely think that's something that has changed dramatically in recent years. I mean, you only have to look on your Instagram feed if you're a drummer, with all the drum pages you're following, to notice that there's a lot more women and non-binary people playing drums now. So it's definitely progressing, it's definitely improving. But for me growing up, I definitely found it really, really tough to navigate that.
What were the challenges?
Just general prejudice from a male-dominated industry, and specifically instrument as well. There was just a lot of assumption that you couldn't play. It almost felt like you had to work 10 times as hard to prove yourself, because I feel like for me and the generation I grew up, and I'm sure generations previously as well, people just assumed you were going to be bad because there wasn't that many of you around doing it. So I did feel like I really had to work really hard to prove myself, and I'm sure that's still probably the case for a lot of people. But I do think that because we're seeing so many more women playing drums, it's definitely becoming less of a thing, which is awesome, obviously. But before I was playing big shows or anything. I play local gigs, and I'd show up and I'd bring my bass drum in, start bringing all my stuff in, and people would say, "Oh, are you the drummer's girlfriend, or are you like one of the band members?" That was literally like the immediate assumption, which is pretty crazy to think at this point, isn't it? Considering how many women we know of that play drums. But it still does happen occasionally. I still play small local gigs and stuff because I still really enjoy it. And sometimes I started talking to this guy that was listening to a band. He owns this recording studio, and he was listening to the band, and he said, "I thought you were like some old guy because you sound exactly like John Bonham. I thought you were like some old dude up there, but then when I saw you, I was really surprised to see you, that you're like a young like woman doing it." So yeah, again, it's just a lot of strange assumptions over the years. But I think we're moving in the right direction. And it's just important just to not make these assumptions, obviously. Yeah.
I think it's comments that we had one of our first guests wrote a book about punk drumming, and he had this whole bit in the book about female punk drummers, and just saying in the the 70s and 80s, just it was an uphill struggle to be a female drummer because they'd constantly get, "Oh, you hit quite good for a girl," and things like that. Just little comments, and it's which I love how Hit Like a Girl totally took that back and like now own it. exactly because that's the classic hashtag insult, isn't it? But it's great to hear from your point of view that it seems like it's going in the right direction. Definitely. Going in, and I think it's the same for a lot of other female instrumentalists, guitarists, bassists. It's always another assumption that women in band are singers for many years. But you're seeing just so much more women playing these kind of instruments and styles of music that wasn't as common as it was even, like 5-10 years ago. So it's really cool to see all the changes happening. Definitely. Well, even the subways. I mean, I remember being aware of the subways and the fact that they had a female bass player and thinking that was really cool. Like, absolutely out there. For that time. I mean, it was. I'm sure there was a lot of occasions where it was really hard for Charlotte to kind of be in that industry at that time because it was such a rarity. And there's the kind of sexualization of women in music being the prime focus a lot of the time as well. That is also a problem. Not really listening to what women are doing in music and making it kind of women being objectified as opposed to being seen as an artist. So, and we all know how much the noughties was a period where it was very much, the culture was like American Pie culture, It's a hard time to be in the spotlight doing something that most like 99% dudes do, I imagine, at the time. Definitely. Yeah, sorry, I went a bit deep there. No, it's okay. That's all good. That's what we're here for, right? Yeah, it really is.
I have a segue in my mind, and I don't know if it's appropriate, but
probably.
Oh, go for it. I mean,
one thing that is sexy are drum kits.
Yeah. Okay.
And you play Mapex. There we go. We're in.
Yeah, I do play a very sexy drum kit. Yeah.
I'm a fellow Mapexer, if that's the term.
Nice, amazing. What Mapex kit do you play?
Saturn 5.
Nice, amazing. Yeah.
Purple sparkly.
Lovely. Yeah, those sparkle finishes were gorgeous, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
So let's have a rundown of your setup.
So, well, I've got a couple of Mapex kits. The one that I use with the Subways is a Saturn Evolution, and that's just one up, one down with the bass drum. I've got 12, 16, 22 walnut toms and a maple bass drum. I'm trying to remember the specific finish now. Probably get told off now for forgetting it. No, it's the blue. I think it's called an azure blue fade or something. It's basically like a very bright blue, turquoisey kind of blue fade kit. It's gorgeous. Absolutely adore it. And it is honestly the best sounding kit I've ever had. I play that with a Black Panther hammered brass persuader snare. And it's just, I use the Code drum heads as well, which honestly, I mean, they are now made in the UK and the sound quality of them is insane. I think the combination of those drums, the Mapex Saturn drums with the heads, is honestly the easiest tuning experience I've ever had. It's literally a case of tune it like just barely to tension and then up a little bit, and then you're basically there, which is really handy with festival situations when there's a band playing and like a million people out the front like being noisy and making a racket, and it's really sometimes quite hard to tune, I find. Anyway, I don't know how drum techs do it as a regular thing in festival season. It's just so, when I get the higher kits, sometimes when we're not, if we're flying and I can't fly with my kit, it's always such a nightmare for me because I'm just like, how do I tune this kit? How do I make this kit sound good? Because it will just be a different kit every time. But yeah, the Mapex drums are just so easy to tune and they just sound so fat. I think the walnut as well makes them sound really nice and warm, and lush drums. And then I've got another kit in the studio, but that one's an Armory. That's more kind of my teaching kit. One that can get thrashed around a bit more by the kids that come in and play.
I want to ask about sticks, because am I right in saying you use London Drumstick Company? Is that correct?
I used to use London Drumstick.
Oh, okay.
Company. They're great. They're great sticks.
Yeah, because I hadn't heard of them before. Are they quite an independent?
Yeah, they're a very independent company.
From London, I guess.
Yeah.
What do they make again? Sticks, yeah, cool.
Yeah. The main thing about those sticks is that the durability of them is like insane. It's honestly a mission to try and break one. Really? Yeah, you'll have a tough time actually trying to break one of those sticks. In all honesty, the main reason why I just went back to Vic Firth because they're kind of the sticks I started out with. And they're also distributed by Korg, and I play Mapex drums, Paiste cymbals, and Vic Firth also are under that same bracket.
Oh, fair.
And also, I've got quite an odd drumstick choice for the genre music.
Go on, I'm ready.
I play the Boleros, the SD2 Boleros.
Okay.
Which, I know.
I haven't heard of these.
They're quite thick sticks, but they're maple, so they're really thick and really light, and they have a very small. What's the correct term for the spherical tip? It's not an acorn. It's a. I think it's ball tip, isn't it? Yeah. So they're quite an odd choice because they're very light, but also very fat at the same time. But I really like the feel of that because I find that I get a looser grip with bigger sticks, but also they're light enough that you can kind of fly around the kit with them. So
nice.
And it's kind of hard to replicate that stick as well because such a specific thing. But they're my favorite sticks. They're what I play with at the moment. I kind of used to play them, and now I've gone back to them. So,
and what about kick pedal?
Kick pedal, I don't use a Mapex kick pedal actually. I use a Tama Speed Cobra, which has been my go-to for quite a long time now. I just really, as it's in the name, I really like the speed of it. I really like doing quite fast kick pattern stuff. And that one just, to me, feels really, really nice for that kind of thing. I'm not a fan of the DW9000s. I know a lot of people really kind of go to those pedals, but for me, they're really, really like clunky and slow. I really like quite a light pedal.
So what you got, George?
It is what I got. Yeah. And I agree. It is sort of... It is funkier, but I think it's also that thing of you get used to it. I think if I use the speaker,
definitely.
Like, my God, my foot's out of control.
Amazing. I just like quite. I also have, but it's like so boring. Actually, you can cut this out as well if you want.
Using my line.
Yeah. I have my spring on my pedal super loose because I really just like the pedal being like like that, you know, coming straight back at you. I like that that kind of loose tension on the pedal. Just everything as light as possible.
Is that something that you changed yourself? Did you?
Yeah. Just loosen the tension on it right up. And same with the hi-hats as well. You know, with the hi-hat pedal, you can loosen the tension of that, can't you? Have that on the bottom kind of like tension. Yeah.
I think it's always hard with things on making changes with drums, whether you're changing skins or sticks or pedal or going from felt to plastic beater or any sorts of things. Like sometimes it's like, I don't know if this is worse or just different, or I don't know if it's better or just different.
Yeah, definitely. We get set in our ways and get used to certain things with everything in life. So yeah, drums are no different.
Yeah, because I played a pretty sort of high-end Yamaha kick pedal. Like just a friend of mine got one, and I played it, and it had so little resistance compared to my sort of mid-range Pearl kick pedal. I was like, this is worse, but it's clearly not. It's, you know, not that price is the defining factor, but it's several £100 better than mine.
Yeah.
But it was like so different. But I want, you know, I'd have to retrain myself if I were to get one, you know, on it to just adapt to the resistance and all that sort of thing. So
definitely.
It's always harder.
With double kick as well. That's just another element to it, isn't it?
You mentioned Paiste cymbals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you always been a Paiste fan?
Also, is it pasty or Paiste?
Yeah. How do you say it?
Paiste.
Oh,
Paiste.
Paiste.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's such a spoken about topic, isn't it? With that, it's like, how do you say that word? Yeah.
We should do a quiz. We should do a quiz with like, Paiste, Tama.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, it was absolutely incredible. I went to go visit the Paiste HQ where they make all the cymbals. Trying to remember when it actually was now. Was it last year or this year? A few months ago, let's say that, in Notwil in Switzerland. And it was honestly one of the best days of my life. It was so good. Just the dedication and attention to detail with how they create their cymbals is mad. They have the people doing the lathing by hand, the hand hammering by hand, people that have been doing it for years, and they literally go into like a kind of like a course to learn how to do it. And yeah, some people have just been there for years, like so specialist in what they do. And they've only got about, I'd say probably about a team of 15 people in there making literally all the Paiste cymbals in the world. Yeah, it's amazing. And they've got the master cymbal as well, which they kind of consider to be the perfect sounding version of that cymbal. Okay. And what they do is they'll lathe it to perfection, hand hammer it, and then they'll take it in and they'll put it next to the master cymbal, and then they'll compare it and they'll go, yeah, that's good. That sounds like enough like the master cymbal. We can send that one off. No, that needs. Yeah. Or, you know, this one isn't good enough. That needs some work. Or
wow, is that have they got is that for like a ride and then a crash, or is it just one cymbal?
For each individual cymbal.
Oh yeah, of course.
They've got like the master cymbal. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
It was so cool. Yeah. I just had such a newfound respect for cymbal makers and all the attention to detail that goes into it after going there. It was incredible.
Yeah, that's insane.
And I have always been a fan, especially the hi-hats. The hi-hats have always been my favorite hi-hats to play. I just think they're just like the perfect amount of everything. They're really smooth and buttery, but also like really cutting at the same time. I find like some of the minors and stuff, they kind of get a bit lost because they're a bit too, I don't know, a bit too dark or something.
Like the bigger side of cymbals, size wise.
Depends. I go between 14s and 15s. I've got the 14-inch Modern Essential ones, which are the Vinny Colaiuta ones that I think he helped develop, and then also the Big Beat ones, the ones that John Bonham used to play. Those like 15-inch ones.
We're going to finish up with our final question, which is, of course, who is your favourite delivery company?
Company. Oh my God. Now you've like really caught me off guard. I don't know. Who's your favorite delivery company?
DPD.
Yeah, that was the first one that sprung to mind. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Let's go with DPD. Yeah, they seem to be pretty on it.
Yeah.
It's the hour window with the text. It's pretty good, you know.
It's a touch.
I just can't stand it. I mean, it's 2023. With all the technology we have, to be sent an email that just says it will be delivered by 9 p.m. today. Well, what am I going to do with that? Nothing. I've got things to do, you know?
Any bad delivery stories?
Bad delivery stories. Oh wow.
Parcels ending up in a hedge or anything like that?
No, none that spring to mind. I think I must have been pretty lucky because I do see a lot of these horror stories where someone's like brand new like kit gets just like left in the rain somewhere or something.
We had Pat Garvey said that a drum was sent to him and it was a low tom and it was smashed up when he opened the case or the box. Sorry. And I was like, that is, he said, probably the worst is a drum turned up smashed. And we're like, that is the worst. That's the worst thing that can ever happen delivery wise. But, but some guests, it's all good. It's always been good deliveries. So that's almost the better way to end the show rather than.
So you've got this tour with Subways and Ash coming up.
That's right. Yeah.
UK and Europe, is it?
Yes. Yeah. So the UK one starts right at the end of September, and then the European one starts in November.
Is that a joint headline tour?
It is. Yeah. It's basically a co-headline tour. But I think for the most part in the UK, Ash will be technically headlining, as in they're going on last. And then the European shows, we're kind of going on last.
Is it rock, paper, scissors to decide who?
That would be really cool. I might put that idea forward.
Great.
Nice. Well, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, no, it's always a pleasure to nerd out about drums. I love it.
This is it. Yeah, it's
the place to do it.
Yeah, it really is the place. Oh, where can people find you?
Where can people find me?
I don't mean literally. I don't mean what's
yes,
your
yeah.
address.
What's your
people
can find it. So my website is quite simply CamillePhillips.com.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find a lot of what's going on there. And people can also find me on all the usual places, Instagram, Threads now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you signed up, did you?
Join the Threads crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Instagram is probably where I'm most active. And that's all linked up to my website if you want to kind of know more in-depth stuff. But yeah.
Nice. Brilliant.
We'll put links to all that in the show description and stuff. Thanks so much for your time
thank you.
On a bank holiday as well. Appreciate it.
Of course. It's probably like the only time we all had to do it, right?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
We can breathe today.
Yeah. Exactly.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, and enjoy the tour with Ash.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
There we go.
Do it again. Sorry. My throat was doing that gargly no burp thing. Or we could keep it. I don't care.
Okay, but just quickly, I'm a big fan of Taskmaster.
Oh God, where are you going with this?
Taskmaster New Zealand, they're now on season 4, and it's been
Uh-huh.
impossible to watch it really in the UK without going down the piracy route. But it's now on Channel 4 on demand, 4OD.
Yep.
I still call it 4OD, even though it's now called All 4. 4OD, the OG. It's now on there. One of the comedians is doing a task, and he says, I can't burp. It just makes a gargly sound.
Yes.
There we go.
Well,
Right.
thank God there's another one.
Yeah. That was our chat with Camille.
Fascinating insight into, the playing in the subways. I find it brilliant that we've had someone on that plays in a band that they were a fan of growing up.
That must be pretty cool.
Yeah, because I've always wondered what that would be like.
So who would you want to join?
Arctic Monkeys,
Well,
obviously.
I know. I don't know why I bothered asking.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But it has happened before. The guitarist in Motorhead was a fan, and he went to see Lemmy at one of Lemmy's gigs when he was a teen or something, and then ended up being in Lemmy's band, which, you know, it happens. And I think it must be quite mad to play those songs you grew up listening to.
Yeah.
So
Fall Out Boy, if you're listening, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mr. Hurley does not want to do it anymore. I'm ready. I've already got one of your lyrics tattooed on my arm.
Is that who you play for? Who'd be your childhood band you play for?
Oh, I'd love to play for Fall Out Boy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Is that because of the drumming in it, or is that because
just
you're
everything?
a fan of them? Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Fair play.
I think that and that's you know, you have to encompass everything with that decision, like not just the drum parts, but the songs, the other people, the career they've had,
the wigs, the glasses, the
catchphrase. Yeah.
Brilliant. I know what you mean. Yeah, and I think that's why I was sort of asking about it, about, you know, what was it like, you know, taking over from, because you see it with bands when a member comes in who's perhaps, I mean, you saw it with Taylor Hawkins when he passed away, and then it was taken over by Josh Freese. And I think generally the drum community have said this is brilliant, but there's always a few people that go, no, this is, should the Foo Fighters just have stopped, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think to fill someone's shoes, it's more than just you're joining a new band, it's you're joining an established band. So but she's clearly smashing it, and it's all good. But should we wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up. Yeah.
Wrap it up. I hope you've enjoyed the guests. We you know, we've got more guests coming up. We had a bit of a dry spell of guests in the summer, but it was because
they're all out playing festivals.
yeah, they're all busy. But now,
and we weren't.
Yeah. But strap yourself in, because there's some more coming.
There's some more guests coming. Obviously, we're on a nice little run up to our big 100th episode.
Yep. And I don't know when this
the drum
comes
show,
out.
and running up to, you know, we're coming up to the drum show as well.
Yeah. We might be there now. Or, I don't know, not there now. It might be the day before when we can't put this out.
Maybe.
Who knows when we put this out?
Who knows?
But yeah.
We're doing this quite far in advance.
Yeah, we are.
Sweet. Well, have a good week, everyone.
Yeah.
Just enjoy yourselves, please. You know? But be free, but be safe.
Free. Come on.
Yeah.
Right. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.